You're listening to the Coach Hodge and Bank Show on the Coaching Culture in Athletics Radio Broadcast Network. Sit back and enjoy the show. The views and opinions discussed in this podcast aren't necessarily the opinion of the host or Coach Hodge and Bank Show on the Coaching and Culture Athletics Network.
Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to another show. It's Two for the Road Sunday night, folks, on CCA. Tonight, this is episode 13. I can't believe we've made it to episode 13. It's crazy, crazy stuff out there. Tonight, we have Texas football coach Zach Kelley, and tonight's special co-hosts Kelly Spann and Tyler Bryant. I'm so excited. It's first time also that we've had four people in the hot seat at the same time, so bear with us. It's going to be a fun night. Topics for tonight's broadcast: Texas football Friday Night Lights. What makes a winner? The non-negotiables. Routine for a Texas high school football coach. Coaches that have impacted you along the way, and culture, of course. Sit back, turn the AC up, and enjoy the show. And you know what? Coach Kelley is going to laugh a little bit because I think it's a little bit warm in there for you, right?
It is the literal hot seat right now. I don't know if you jinxed it or something, but it is the literal hot seat with no AC in my house.
We could have done this show live in Iowa. The AC's working tonight, all that sort of stuff. But it is what it is, right?
I'm about to go sit in an Applebee's to get some AC and not order anything.
That's awesome. Now, for people that don't know who you are, who this Zach Kelley is, tell them who you are, how you got involved in Texas high school football. Because, man, I'm telling you, people say it to me all the time. Coach Spann has said the same thing. Everything's bigger down in Texas.
Man, I basically grew up in Oregon. I moved from Colorado to Oregon when I was 9. Basically did all my high school, met my wife, had a couple kids there. And, my wife's mom had moved to Texas a couple years before we did. And, we're sitting there. I'm about to finish college. I'm looking at what teachers and coaches are making in Oregon. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, I don't know how we're going to do this. So then my wife kind of says, well, what do you think about Texas? I said, shoot, I know they got great football there. Let's go. So then that's I think we probably planned to move for about 3 months and ended up moving to Texas in July in a minivan with no AC again. Driving through with Wyoming with 2 kids, and I get here. I'm looking for a job, just finishing up my certification. Ended up landing at Dallas Adamson. It was a good spot. Learned a whole bunch. Met a whole lot of good people, and I had met Carlos Lynn. Coach Lynn, the head coach at Cedar Hill, for a couple of years back at an FCA meetup. So, I talked to him, took the head freshman job, did that for the past year, and then a spot opened up on the varsity staff. So I am now the running backs coach in Cedar Hill America, as we call it.
I'm telling you. So what is a running back coach at Cedar Hill? Which is it 6A?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is that like? I'm going to guess that it's business as usual.
Oh yeah, it's just always we're just trying to stay focused, and at Cedar Hill there's only one expectation: it's a state championship. So we're all summer, coaches and kids alike have been just working and just trying to get to that spot to win a state title. In Texas, you got to play 16 games. So that's always our mantra. That's always our mindset. And, I'm truly blessed because we probably have one of the best set of backfields. I would put them up against anybody in the nation. Some great quality kids and just talent out the what is phenomenal.
Now, what's it like there, comparably to maybe your old high school back in Colorado?
Oh, in Oregon, yeah, it was.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just a whole different. It's a whole different thing, man. You always talk. People always talk about how everything's bigger in Texas, and there's always debate about which state has the best football. But what always gets neglected in those is, Texas, we have phenomenal talent. Georgia has phenomenal talent. California has phenomenal talent. But nobody has the buy-in to the football program that Texas does. It's talking about athletic periods, coaches getting paid, like you said before. I mean, coaches getting paid pretty well. Not phenomenal. We're not D1 coaches making a couple $100,000, but we're getting paid pretty well. I mean, and we just it's different. And I was a hard worker back in my high school. I could honestly say here at Cedar Hill, Texas, we probably have some of the hardest working kids against anybody in the nation.
Coach Spann, what do you suppose is the difference in that work ethic? Is it because there's more numbers there, or is this just a Texas thing?
Well, I just think that the culture, as you say in Texas, football being king, it does kind of run the show athletically, and rightly so, because as you see in the state championship, if you see any type of the numbers that the people attend, it's just the passion that is Texas. And fortunately, the UIL and the principals of the state have recognized that and have said that we're going to pour resources into impacting those young people playing football. And it's great to see, because being in Louisiana, you didn't have to be a full-time teacher to be able to coach at the high school level. And in Texas, they want you to be on campus and being around those young people as much as you can. And so the emphasis is to make sure that you're around them to be able to do that. And I think that just goes to show you how important it is, not only to the schools, but also to those student athletes.
Absolutely. Now, Coach Kelley, take us through your pregame stuff as you're getting ready to go out on the field on a football Friday night at Cedar Hill.
You say you want specifically the whole team or just me?
Let's do both.
Okay, so me personally, we get done with school. I'm gonna come down. I'm gonna talk to some of the kids. Nothing about football, just kind of, hey, how you doing? Are you ready? How you doing today? How was your day? Eat. We'll do a little bit of quiet time. Meet with our guys. I'll say a little prayer with them, and we'll talk a little bit, and then it's time to go out there and play some ball. I mean, that's really what it is. There's no secret. I think almost everybody has the same pregame routine all across, but it's just, I try and make it a point when it's a game day, make sure that I talk to my guys about something that's not football related.
Now, what is the atmosphere like? How many people are in the stadium? I mean, what is this whole rigmarole when we talk about football Friday night?
I'll tell you, man, it's unreal. It's unreal. I couldn't tell you specifically how many people are at our games, but that stand there isn't an empty seat. Home stands, visitor stands, both bands are playing loud. I mean, it's truly incredible. Like, everybody always talks about, how everybody got chills or that little butterfly in their stomach before games. That's every Friday night, even as a coach. Like, I'm a fool. I'm sitting there in pregame. I'm dancing around like I'm about to go light somebody up. It's just incredible. And I mean, shoot, part of the thing is you even got the bands that are phenomenal. I think Cedar Hill is one of the best bands in America. They're playing all types of stuff and perfect timing, and they do a phenomenal job, and that feeds into it. Fans are going crazy, like Coach Spann talked about the passion. I mean, it's unreal. Now, this first week that we play this year will be a little bit different experience too. We play Allen High School the very first week.
Ooh, so what's this Allen High School? I'm intrigued now.
Okay, so Allen, they have a general enrollment, I believe, of 7,000 students.
Correct.
Kyler Murray was just drafted #1 overall. He played there. He won, I believe, 3 state titles. Never lost a game in high school. Allen is a fairly big proponent nationally in all the rankings. They'll be top 5, top 10 almost every year. They built a couple $1 million stadium. When we go out there on week 1, we're probably playing in front of about 20,000, 30,000.
So you got your work cut out for you.
Oh, it'll be fun. I feel good. It's exciting getting to play somebody of their caliber.
Oh man, it's one of those things. Now, when you look at your program, this, that, and the other, I like to use the term "what makes a winner," but how is your culture different than another school's culture? When we're trying to continuously try to bring out the greatest product we can when we look at future U.S. citizens.
I just think the biggest thing that goes into, again, if you want to say what makes a winner and what we do at Cedar Hills, we're tough and we're disciplined. Athleticism, talent only gets you so far. You got to be disciplined. I mean, you could go score 50 times, but if you're holding 49 of them, only one of them counts. It really doesn't matter if you're not disciplined, if you're not holding your kids accountable. We coach our kids hard at Cedar Hill. We really do. We coach them hard. Now we're going to put our arm around them and tell them we love them too. They're going to know that we love them, but we're going to coach them hard. They know that. So we're going to hold them accountable with discipline, our toughness, our weight room. Before I got to Cedar Hill, I was always questioned about, how do you build toughness? We build toughness in our weight room. We work out different. Our expectations are that high where the kids build in toughness, they buy in, and it's phenomenal.
And when you're looking at these non-negotiables, these things, this mental toughness, I'm going to guess that you guys utilize both positive and negative reinforcement, and you really get rid of that term, as far as punishment, correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, we got such a good coaching staff. They always talk about in education differentiation, the different types of learners. Our coaching staff is full of different kind of motivators. Some kids you can really chew them out, and they'll be fine the next play. They'll go out and do exactly what they're supposed to do. Some of them, we're going to yell at them a little bit, but we're going to be quicker on the trigger to make sure that we talk to them and understand why we're saying what we're saying. And like I said, I think we do a phenomenal job of that.
Now, take us to the beginning of the season, because I'm going to guess that there are a plethora of meetings, this, that, and the other, whether it's parents, players, with the coaches, in order for them to have a buy-in in your culture, correct?
Oh, yeah, and I think what sets us up really well is the fact that we've done it for so long. This is my second year here, and I kind of come in and I learn, but these kids will tell you from the time they're in middle school, they know what Cedar Hill football is about. They know about all of our sayings. They know about how we work in the weight room, how we handle ourselves on the practice field. You got 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders coming in that know our expectations. So we have meetings with them and whatnot, and I'll meet individually with all the running backs this year. But for the most part, it's just ingrained in these Cedar Hill kids.
Coach Kelley, kind of tell the listeners about a typical week as you lead into game day. And I know how we do it here at Lone Star, but what does it look like Monday? And give them an idea of Monday mornings, what time you start, and then practices, what it looks like, the weight room. And then get into, Monday evening, because it's going to stretch out pretty long, as I know ours does too, and then leading up to the game on Friday. So I want them to know, because it's going to be surprising to some of these guys that may be listening.
Oh man, it's a grind. I'll tell you. Yes. I'll tell you from last year when I was the head freshman coach, we'd have freshman practices in the morning, and then we'd have varsity practice after school. And so last year, my schedule was essentially from about 5 o'clock in the morning to about 8:30 at night. that was football and classroom and athletic period. And but this year it'll be a little bit different, but it's still going to be a grind. School starts at about 8:00. So, I'm going to get up, get to school at 8:00, put on my good teaching face till about fifth period where it's about football. So when we get into our athletic period, it's going to be about a 45-minute time. We're going to do various meetings, workouts, what have you. Then we're going to go back to the classroom for a little bit. And then we get out after school. We'll have meetings with our kids beforehand, maybe about 20, 30 minutes before we hit the field. We'll go out, do a little pre-practice, get done, practice. If we start at 5, we're getting off the field at about 7. And then, we'll have those meetings, push the kids out, give them a little praise as they're leaving, say, hey, good job, or we got to fix this. And then we'll meet as a staff. We get out at about probably 8:30. So on those days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're looking at about a 12-hour day each.
Right.
Thursday is a little bit lighter day in a sense. You're going to have the sub-varsity games. So we're going to have everything we had before from 7 to about 4 o'clock until we got to go to that first sub-varsity game. Then we're going to get home at about probably, if it's a road game, we'll probably be home around 11 or midnight. Turn around, wake up, 7 o'clock, probably do a little breakfast with the kids. And then, we're doing game night. Probably get done, after you're done talking in the coach's office with the staff and, you're talking about Johnny should have done this, or Jimmy, we should have done this, hindsight's 2020. Hopefully celebrating, just kind of talking and BSing. We'll get done out of there about 1 or 2 after we start laundry and stuff. Saturday, we'll come up probably from about 7 to about 1 or 2, breaking down, stretching our kids out, getting them all healthy, breaking down the previous game. And Sunday we'll come back in and from about 1 to whenever we get done. That's a typical work week. That's
typical.
Yes.
Yeah. Coach Bryant, does that make you want to go down to Texas?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, visiting my stepbrother down there last summer, I saw some of these big high school stadiums, which were probably the size of my collegiate stadium that I went to at Central College. And I asked him, I was like, is that one of the bigger high schools? He's like, no, that's just a 2A school. I'm like, whew.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's just crazy. Now, Coach Kelley, what are the non-negotiables for your student athletes and coaching staff?
Oh, just hold everybody accountable. Like we said, we're going to build ourselves on discipline and toughness. You can't have those things if you ain't got folks holding each other accountable. I mean, the kids hold the kids accountable. Coaches hold the coaches accountable. Coaches hold the kids accountable. And, it goes all around. Kids will hold coaches accountable. It kind of works out where everybody, we don't get caught up in egos. You got to leave your ego at the door. We're all about one goal, and that's playing in the late December. So, everybody's in for the same mission. So we all talk. We all do a great job of everybody working together, from the staff to the kids, and boosting each other up when we need to, and, getting on folks when we need to. So that's one of the big things that we do here.
That's a very good point. I like how you brought up egos. I know down in Texas, you guys probably, on average, have at least 1 or 2 D1 athletes, so I figured sometimes egos could be pretty high with those guys. Whereas down up here in Iowa, we might get lucky to have a Division III player every now and then. But so, do you guys ever experience those egotistical athletes?
I'll be honest. In my time, I have never had an issue with one of the better kids being a brat, I guess, for lack of a better word. Here we got some of our hardest working kids are some of our kids with the most stars. They work really hard. In fact, some of the egos are from the lesser kids that think they're the best. So I really haven't had an issue with any of our kids. We got some big time players, but there are also some big time leaders, and that's why we feel good about ourselves going into this season.
Coach Spann, what do you think about that?
Well, this day and age with the Twitter sphere, as we always talk about it, there is some issues there, especially with those kids that are the fringe players, where maybe they don't have a place to go, that may think they're a little bit better than they really are, and so they may get caught into trying to promote themselves. And film doesn't lie, and I know Coach Kelley can talk about the use of Huddle. Is a big key word, in Texas high school football, and how much film that the coaches watch, and how much we hold the kids accountable to watching film as well. And so film is out there, and the film doesn't lie on the talent. So sometimes you have to be honest with those kids and be able to break down the film with them and say, hey, this is really what you're doing, and be honest with them. But so that's what's great about Texas football, and having the resources to be able to do that. Because from the baseball side, even though we use Huddle, there's been places where I've been where we didn't have that option. So sometimes those kids can't see that. But having that technology piece allows you to keep those kids humble. And so if they do get an ego, that they're just quick to point out that maybe they're not as good as they think they are. So, but Coach Kelley, talk about the Huddle piece, if you will, about what you guys do there, and how you disseminate that information and share game film.
Man, we use Huddle just like everybody else, but I think the big difference is the thing that, I don't want to say, I guess the older generation, I would say, really hates technology.
Mm-hmm.
Hates technology. Teachers are always complaining in the teacher's lounge about why this kid cannot get off of his phone. So then there's stuff where I'm bringing up, well, why don't you use that phone to kind of, hey, Coach Banks, get off the phone, I'm talking. No, but they say, I say, well, why don't you try and integrate that in your lesson? So we do a good job of, we have Huddle, and we're going to send out that information to the kids. Hey, this tape's out. We put these notes on it, and the kids are real good. They're gonna want to see what good they did, so that way they can screen record it and put it on Twitter real quick.
Correct.
And I always talk to my kids. I'm gonna send that out with the notes, and I'm gonna ask them, hey, did you understand this? They said, oh yeah, Coach, I saw that clip and I saw the note. That makes complete sense. Hey, did you see this? And they're real good. I mean, that's kind of, again, the accountability piece. I know they're going to watch it.
You know what's awesome about Huddle? We actually have that up here too. What's awesome about Huddle is you can tell, how often they've logged in, how many minutes they've watched, and how do you handle the kid that says, oh yeah, I've been watching it? And he fibs to you, and you show him to him, and then he says I've been watching it on my buddy's screen. I mean, how do you handle that? I mean, do you train your kids how to watch Huddle and how to break down the film?
Oh yeah, when we watch with our kids, like I'll tell them exactly what I'm looking at. When we break down an opponent, I'm gonna talk exactly what I'm looking for from the D line, how the linebackers move. But like I said, that kind of goes into the piece that I don't. I kind of started looking at that when it first came out, the whole seeing how much they logged in, and I found that there was a whole bunch of issues with it, because I know there's a kid that just spent 45 minutes in my class that kept trying to get on.
Your class. I have that issue too, by the way.
Yes. And I look on his thing and it doesn't have any minutes logged. I know the kid's watching. So that's why I went to that, where I'm asking them, I said, hey, did you look at clip so-and-so? And then I have them explain it to me, what they saw and what they need to do differently. Because I'm big on notes. It drives my wife crazy, but I'll get on film. I'll get on the film after practice, and I'll just start tearing that thing up. And my wife said, what are you doing? Get off your iPad. I said, baby, it's football season. You know what it is. Then I send it back to the kids, and they're able to respond, and they know exactly. Like I said, I have no problem with kids trying to say they watch film, and if they don't watch film, they're probably not playing anyway. They're probably not on it, so they're watching other people.
Coach Bryant, how many hours on Huddle did you spend today?
Well, I watched my high school's whole season from last year just to get mentally prepared for this upcoming season. So I started around 9 o'clock, and I was on it until I got into here. So it's almost 12 hours.
Love it. I ain't doing that, but love it. I'm too ADHD for that, man. You got about 30 minutes before I got to get up and go feed the dog or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's that is just good stuff. Now, let's see. We've already kind of talked about the routine for a Texas high school football coach. Coach, let's talk about coaches that have impacted you along the way. And this could be an open forum for all of us.
First I got to go back to my high school coaches. Coach Eric Malum and Coach Eric Givens, Roger Pender. Those were guys that coached me, and I actually had, when I first started coaching, Coach Givens and Coach Malum, Coach Givens was the DC, Coach Malum was the head coach. They actually were the ones that brought me back into coaching and wanted me to be part of the program. So first of all, I got to do that. I got to go work. I got to see how I got to see the two different hats. I got to see him outside of the office, and I got to see him inside of the office that I never got to when I was a player. And then, I go to W.H. Adamson, and I work for Josh Ragsdale. He taught me a whole bunch of good stuff. Let me coach the defense, get to that side of the ball, and then work for B.J. Ryder, all about discipline. Man, he's hard on the players, he's hard on the coaches, but you know what? He cares about you. And then I get to Cedar Hill, and I'm learning from the whole coaching staff. I'm picking bits and pieces. I actually started an Excel sheet and wrote down what some of the coaches are saying, and that I just kind of hear is like just from time to time, so that way I can log it, because there's so much stuff I'm getting. I'm learning stuff from Coach DJ Mann, Kyle Morales, DeMarcus Harris, Damon Page, Carlos Lynn. It's that they're all phenomenal coaches. That's why I love our coaching staff. And, I feel there's not a day where I don't get better in that coaching office.
Coach Spann, what do you think about that? Who would be your inspirations, or those that have impacted you along the way, both positively and negatively? Because I've had a mixture between really great coaches and really poor coaches. So that's kind of my background with it.
Well, she just walked in. It's my wife. She's a big one, and supporting my coaching moves and our coaching moves for our family. So that's a big one. But the high school coaches that I had a long time ago, but really wanted to get me excited about coaching, and that was Randy Leach, who was the head baseball coach at the time at Granbury High School, and I never got to play for him because he went full-time football. I was the head football coach there before I got to the varsity level, so I wasn't able to play with him. But my college coaches, Craig Wall, Ken Norman, and then as I grew as a coach, the guys that I coached with, obviously the guys here at Lone Star, Jeff Rayburn, and the guys that are on the staff offensively, Mark Humble, Joey Frankie, who's the head baseball coach here. There's really haven't been too many negative experiences that I've had, but you always have those guys that may have coached that you coach with that they don't do things like, you maybe not want to do it that way. But for the most part, these guys that are in the coaching profession are in it to be with the kids and be the best that they can, and not only challenge you, but also challenge the kids. So it's kind of nice to be around those people. So it's been obviously very successful for me to be able to be around those people, because I still want to do it, because we don't make a lot of money doing it, and we're not in it for the money. So, but it's been great, and I've really enjoyed it, and I'm just thankful for all those guys.
Coach Bryant.
First of all, I would say my dad. He coached me from YMCA basketball all the way up until senior year of high school football, and so I take a lot of what he did to me. And then also you, Coach Hoffman,
Nice.
Coach Frank Gatens. You guys had great relationships with the players, and you were interested in their life outside of athletics, which is what I love. And then you got to go up into my collegiate career. Coach Jeff McMartin up at Central College, the head coach. He did fantastic. And then Ryan Myeri, the offensive coordinator there. And just a lot of all that staff up there, because they are fantastic. when my mom passed away earlier this summer, I had all of them come visit her visitation, and that's just amazing. I mean, they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to take that long car ride down here, but they did. And so, and when you're in high school, you kind of think that those collegiate coaches don't necessarily have an interest in the player's life outside of the sport that they're in, but they really do. And especially at Central College, I mean, they buy into the players just as much as they buy into the team, and it really helps out building that strong relationship with the players, and the players really want to work harder for them with those relationships.
Coach Kelley, are you ready for the hot seat questions since you have sweat running down your face?
Hey, I'm glad y'all can see me wipe it off from time to time. I'm about ready to stop the camera and just wipe myself off.
Oh, man.
Take a cold shower.
I hate it that you don't have AC, brother. I do. Okay, here's a scenario, partner. Okay, you have 15 linebackers. Okay, you have your best, your front tier, and then you have your worst. How do you coach all of them?
I think the best thing for that is just, like I said, figuring out which learning style fits them all. Front tier guys, maybe I got to explain it once, show them once, and they're good to go. They'll get those reps, and then the next guy comes up, we'll try it. If he doesn't get it, then, well, shoot, let's keep trying. Let's go through the next time. If he still doesn't get it at that time, then I got to reevaluate what I got to do. Okay, because I heard a long time ago, if one person doesn't get it, it might be that person. But if everybody doesn't get it, it's probably the teacher. Yeah. So then I got to reevaluate exactly how I want to do that. Maybe the kid's got to see it on film where he messed up. Maybe he's got to see it on the board how his job fits within the defense. So that's where you got to really expand your skills as a teacher, not a coach, an actual teacher of the game, to figure out how to get all 15 of those dudes to figure it out and be able to go play now.
Great point.
Joe Schmo, number 15, probably won't be making the same plays number 1 does, but shoot, they'll at least know what to do, whether they make a play or not.
Yeah. Coach Spann, are you ready to get on the hot seat here?
Sure.
All right, here's your scenario. You have 7 different pitchers, okay? You obviously have your best pitcher, and then you have your worst pitcher, all right? How do you coach them each individually different? Or do you teach or coach them different?
Well, I think you do, because personalities of each one of those pitchers is going to be different. It would be nice to have 7 pitchers, obviously, at the varsity level. But depending where you're at, you got to develop roles with them. Being on a varsity staff, Tuesday, Friday games in district, all 7 are probably going to pitch. Especially in our seasons where we have an early 3 tournaments that we play in. So those guys got to know, what roles that they're going to have. So they can fit in, but you need to make sure that they have those specific roles and know what they're going to do. They could come in late. A lot of major league teams and college teams are going with openers now, where a guy will pitch the first inning only, and then you bring in a guy after that. So you do coach them differently. The drills may be similar to them and how they go about their practice. But if they can understand the roles and what they're good at, and they can buy into that, I think that's how you would coach them and give them the best chance to be successful.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. Now, Coach Kelley, as we near the end here, we only have roughly 11 minutes. It's gone by. Always goes by extremely fast. Here's something. Social media, football coaches or coaches in general. What's its impact? Obviously, it's huge.
Man, I tell you what, I'm always ready for that question. Because
that's because
I've always talked to the old heads that, man, they don't really like social media. They don't like it. They feel like it takes away from whatever they're trying to do. But there's 2 points to that. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. What are you using social media for? Okay, I personally like it to connect with coaches. I like to connect with coaches because you never know what other coach knows that you don't. That's why I started some of the chats. I did 425 chat about 2-3 years ago for a while. I just want to be able to basically have a clinic in my pocket. Anytime I want, I could contact a coach. I could ask him, hey, what are you doing for this? how are you playing this? How are you teaching your kids this? What drills do you use? And, you know, it's been phenomenal. I've connected with so many coaches that it just feels like it makes me a better coach. Again, the second thing, this is something that I took from Coach Carlos Lynn. You know, he if you don't show the world what your program's doing, it's not happening. You know, I mean, if you're not posting pictures, if you're not letting people see the good that you're doing outside of just football, we do so much stuff that builds character for our young men. Okay. Yes, Cedar Hill is a good football program. We got some very talented young men. We got guys that are going to go out and be phenomenal leaders in this community and in the world. So we want to show people that. We want to celebrate that, so that way everybody can see the good that our program is doing. We're not just a football program.
Now, Coach Spann, what do you think the emphasis on the social media and coaches being able to connect? It's huge.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I use it all the time. You know, just for drills. There's the baseball ABCA chat has a dialogue on Monday nights where they questions, and there's coaches from all over the country that share information. Sometimes what you get in trouble with is the comparison of you know, athletes in your program. You know, we should be doing this, or, you know, look at them, they're doing this. So you can get a little bit of trouble if you don't know how to handle it properly. You know, I run into it as a coach sometimes, you know, looking at other players like, man, I wish we had this type of player. I wish our players were doing this. And so you really have to be careful, because, you know, you have to coach who comes to your school, and you really have to be diligent in making sure that you're coaching them and not looking out and saying, hey, I wish I had this. So I agree with Coach Kelley, though. If it's a great opportunity to showcase your program and put forth the good things that see that. But, you know, also you got to remember that, you know, as much as we want to put it out there, if you look at it, sometimes you only have like 10 likes, you know, and sometimes you're like, is anybody even seeing this? And so, you know, am I really that important? But it's a good opportunity for the kids because they enjoy it. But you know, that's a piece for your culture, is how you handle social media and how you handle being able to look at all those things, because the kids get in trouble with that as well. You know, they start looking at, well, I'm not as good as this guy, or I'm not getting the looks that I think I should be getting, or this college is not looking at me, or look at where I'm committing to, or look at what I'm blessed and honored to receive an offer from. And so sometimes that gets into some trouble too. So you have to, it's that world you have to live in, and we have to acknowledge it and try to handle it the best we can.
Coach Spann, Coach Kelley, Coach Bryant does not have a Twitter account.
I do not.
Yeah. He needs to get
Everything
one.
Else
I mean, right. You're
missing an instant clinic.
It is, man. Yeah, it's a lot of information.
I kid you not. I was just looking through Twitter and found about 5 different running back drills. I'm like, dang, I might have to try that sometime.
Yeah, yes. Very good resources.
I'm telling you, Coach Bryant, one of these days I'll get you over into Twitterland.
There you go.
I've been on YouTube a lot trying to find those drills.
Yeah, they're all over Twitter. You would be amazed at how much stuff is out there.
I follow 8,000 people. All of them are willing to put stuff of what they do on there.
Yeah.
Not so much. I'll help out and tell you on a phone call, but I ain't putting exactly. Right. I'm not giving away secrets now.
Oh, come on. Okay, guys, we're just under 6 minutes left. Let's do some special shout outs for anybody out there that you just want to say, hey, hello, we appreciate you. Coach Kelley, you can go first.
Man, the whole Cedar Hill football program, you know, I appreciate y'all, Coach Carlos Lynn, for hiring me and letting me be a part of it. You know, beautiful wife, my 2 biological kids, the 12 foster kids I've had in my home over the past year and a half, and again, my parents for just teaching me how to be passionate.
Coach Spann.
My family, and you know, my wife Angela, and my daughter Claire, and Nolan's my son, and then the Lone Star family, the principals and the teachers that are there, and obviously the coaching staff that we get to work with. And it's just a special place, and the coaching profession is just so special. So all those people I've come in contact with, there's just not enough time to name them all. So
that's awesome. Coach Bryant.
Shout out to all my family members. I got too many to name off of, but also shout out to the Central League varsity baseball team as they head up to state tonight. Good luck tomorrow in their first round. It'll be great. They'll do great. And special shout out to Shane Whiterather, the head coach. He's done a great job with those kids. I enjoyed it having him as a coach, and he's just improved each year. It's impressive, and just shout out to all the members of the CCA family and listeners.
Hey guys, if you wouldn't mind, just stay on board here. I'm going to mute you, but I'll bring you in here at the very end if that's okay.
Sounds good.
All right. Okay. All right. One of these days I'll get it figured out. I know Coach Kelley is really sweating and he's struggling, but hey, you know what? What a jam-packed show this evening, full of a plethora of information. Hey, you know what? If you like what you hear, be sure to share this. Share the CCA vision. We're trying to end the mad culture present in society today. And tonight's episode, just like the previous episode here about an hour ago, is brought to you by the new book that's out. It's called The Mad Culture Present in Athletics. Get yours today. I'm selling them for $15 a piece, shipped to your door. And you know what? If you want one for your entire coaching staff, it's $15 for the first one and $7 for each additional copy. Next week, we have Coach Michael Kozarich. We're going to come back to Iowa from Panorama Football. For everybody within CCA, we love you all, and good night.